All right. Well, this is Yo Check It podcast episode
7.
8.
What? 8? Get out of here.
Eight's also a good number too.
The 8 or 7?
Bro, I'm thinking it's 7. Well, if it's 8, it's a heavenly number in Japanese.
It's 8 or 7.
Yeah.
We don't know because
It's
we
been a while.
recorded our last
Why
podcast
was 6
like
afraid
3
of
weeks
7?
7, 8, 9.
Giggity. All
As you
right.
get-
Hi, fellows. How's it going?
Yeah, we
I'm
just-
honored to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
We have a
Yes.
special guest today.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lovely Noelle.
Noelle Hernandez.
Yeah, we just met yesterday, and she's super cool.
Oh, absolutely. I just met her now, actually. And we've had some really cool conversations for the last, 15 minutes? Man, I'm super excited
We
to...
just went deep.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just
many things to talk
minds
about.
blown in 15 minutes. So I'm really excited for this podcast.
Yeah, she's very open, and she has a lot of opinions about stuff, which is good.
Yeah, we're out here to speak truths. Her truth, my truth, JERiCK's truth.
Yeah.
I'm
Here
excited.
just to lift everyone up. We're here to do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Have fun with it while we're at it.
All right. Well, today we're going to talk about relationship stuff.
Woman's perspective.
Yeah, we finally got a woman on our podcast, which is absolutely cool. For everybody who's watching, thank you once again. You know what? It's crazy because everybody keeps coming up to me and they're telling me, hey, like, I've seen your podcast. And it's really interesting to know that, people are actually out here watching. So thank you for tuning in. But today we have a woman's perspective on why, or, well, not why, but on, what do we say? Heartbreak? Breakups.
Breakups today.
Love in general. Breakups, makeups.
I know.
Whatever
Man, this
we-
is already getting dark.
Yeah, whatever we feel like we needs to come out. I think understanding of like what is love, For me, I'm like it's such a massive massive topic, and to be able to just like be real with our experiences and just seeing where it takes us, because that's essentially what the love game's about. We're all here to represent love and just express it, and how we do it is how we do it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's start off with this. Everybody here has probably already had their heart broken at some point, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's like the Boy Scout honor badge of like going through life. It's like if you haven't had your heart broken yet, get ready to. It's just a part of the game as being human on this earth and being able to evolve and grow. Like growing pains are a part of it. And so being able to just completely deconstruct every sort of expectation that comes with codependency or maybe even toxic relationships of trying to please people rather than pleasing ourselves first, and just being able to be that expression of who we are as opposed to just appeasing people and trying to make others happy when I didn't know how to do that for myself. And so I think my game was like trying to please others and not understanding that me doing that wasn't considered enough to sustain a relationship.
A little bit closer.
Yeah, just pop in here.
Oh, that's interesting. My question then is, let me ask this real quick.
Okay.
So then, would you say your heartbreak taught you to love yourself first before you go and try and love someone else?
I mean, it taught me to hate myself first because I had no idea how I didn't know how to love properly. So I thought, my perception of not knowing how to love in an experienced way to keep it going, I didn't understand why separation is a thing, but it is a thing. It's like you have to be able to learn how to be, for me, I had to learn how to be 100% solid and secure on my own. And that took the separating process of being able to cultivate with someone and understand and learn and essentially be mentored of how people do love differently. And then I had to be able to then step away from it and have an objective view on the relationship, on how I contributed to the relationship, and then how another person contributed, what was beneficial to me, what served me and my growth at the time, and what was actually holding me back from me being able to speak my truth. And so with that objective view of a relationship that was on its way out, on the exit, on the breakup, on the heartbreak, then I was able to like finally like say like, okay, I'm an individual. No one's going to save me. No one's going to get me through this, as real and as like hard as that it was for me to like comprehend. It was the truth. And so I was like, okay, I need to have my own back. I need to be my own support. I need to be my own foundation, my own pillar, and discover what truly makes me happy and what makes me fall in love with myself. Because that's essentially why I wanted to be in a relationship, to be able to share who I was with people. And so for now being able to be like really secure and so in love with who I am, now I'm ready to share that with others. And wherever that takes me, and because I'm single, hardcore single right now. Hey, fellas, ladies, I love you, ladies, but just men are just that legacy, that equation for the legacy.
All right, to add a little bit of context. So, all right, for each of us, like, when was our like that big heart or breakup? I guess
The biggest breakup?
Oh well, like I guess the last like biggest heartbreak.
Oh.
Mine was about I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 years ago. Just so we have like a little bit of context on like how long has it been? Because like if we just say it was yesterday, then that's a little bit different too. So
yeah, I mean, always in that process. What did you learn from 3 years ago when you got your heart broken, as opposed to now?
It took me a while to realize a lot of things actually. During that heartbreak, I think it was just kind of like I was super depressed and I didn't really learn much during that time because I was just kind of, when you're in that state, you don't really want to like do anything,
Yeah.
Yeah, like you just like feel like everything's kind of sucks and stupid and like
Just marinate in your sorrow. You're like,
yeah, basically.
why?
Like it took me a while to actually like, I think first step of like to get over that, it probably took me like months just to get over the initial breakup. And then until recently, actually like 2 years ago, that's when I started learning more about like how relationships should work, like the different like love language and just different communication styles and like how people are different. And I feel like you should love people how they want to be loved and not necessarily like how you would want to receive love,
Like you think it's definitely different.
Yeah, because like some people, like, I mean, we're already talking about 5 love languages, Some people have different love languages. And like, just because you have, let's say, I have words of affirmation. And I feel like...
The glasses are dope, JERiCK.
Of course, I gotta wear the
Me
glasses
gusta
in the
mucho.
podcast,
It's his
Make it
staple,
mysterious, it's my thing.
I have the beard.
Yeah, he has the beard, I got the glasses. But yeah, where was I going with that?
Love languages.
Yeah, because like the way I give love is like I'm very like affirming, Like I would say like, oh, I love you, and you're doing this, doing all that, like kind of make them feel loved through words. But some people don't really care for that, at least not as much,
Like you're more the comforter and making sure that your woman feels loved and to her most highest esteem. Like you want to be that for her.
But it might have been probably the reason why we didn't work out, because hers was a little bit different.
What was hers? I remember you told me yesterday, but
yeah,
for the audience.
I'm thinking she was probably gifts, like gift giving.
Receiving gifts?
Yeah. And probably like, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody is a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, I think she was gifts for sure. Because like she would kind of ask me like, how come you don't give me any flowers or any...
Girls love flowers. I mean,
I don't
speaking for
know.
myself,
Some girls say they don't, but
they're lying.
they're just saying girl things.
Liars.
Like, oh,
Liars.
it's like one of those things.
Deceiver.
It's one of those things. Just like oh, it's up to you, or like, what's the
Oh,
common?
it's fine, but in
It's
reality,
fine. That's
it's
a-
not fine. Ah,
That's a very common.
Just to like swipe things under the rug so
Yeah.
then drama is not escalated or yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's definitely a thing.
I mean,
For sure.
guys use it too, but sometimes it really is just fine.
Yeah, because like, yeah, like I said, like 2 years. For the past 2 years, I've been learning a lot about myself and just life and love.
So, would you say that your breakup taught you how to learn? I guess your breakup taught you to learn better, or to learn better. Sorry, to love better, to love not just yourself, but the next person that comes into your life.
Yeah, I mean, during that time, the breakup, like, I didn't really feel like I wanted to change in a way
Mhm.
because, I was just kind of living it. But yeah, until recently, like, a couple years ago, it's just like, I think I just woke up into, like the life of just learning stuff. And I definitely learned a lot. And I feel like everybody should learn just how to live life and how to love, especially because, like, especially in these days, people get into relationships really quickly and they get off it really quickly too,
The relationship?
Yeah. Because I feel like people, when things go bad, they give up very quickly. Yeah.
Like as soon do you think it's because people don't want to feel conflict or confrontation as opposed to they just don't know how to problem solve their way through it because it's too painful? to
That,
deep dive
and I
into
feel
their
like they
own
don't,
emotions?
a lot of people don't know any better, Like,
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of people probably
definitely a
don't
thing.
even know about the five love languages.
JERiCK, do you want to fill them in on those 5 love languages?
Oh, man, you're going to put me on the spot. So, one,
We got your back.
all right, so there's 5. So, one is words of affirmation, gifts, touch, quality time,
My numero uno.
and acts of service.
Acts of service.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
nailed
if
it.
you guys don't know it, you guys should definitely look it up. You'll definitely learn a lot of.
Well, I mean, why don't you just tell them a little bit of each? Like
Oh,
what
man.
is words of affirmation?
I don't
Here,
understand.
you should.
Oh, for
Do you know what your
want-
love languages are,
Oh,
Christian?
my
Yeah,
love
yeah.
language. Shoot, I took the test, and I think number 1 for me was words of affirmation. And
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I guess like, I don't play off too much on the astrological thing, but I'm a Leo, and I love getting like
Leo.
compliments, and I love just people. Well, for me personally, I think I just like to know that, hey, am I needed? Am I important in your life? Am I something? Do I matter to you? Is I guess why the reason I go for words of affirmation mainly. But my second one would be quality time. Like, I'd love to just spend quality time, just to be spend, I don't know, like, figure out who you are and like what we matter to each other.
Yeah, I'm
and that's
kinda
my
the same
second
way
one.
too. Second one's probably
Yeah.
quality time or touch.
Yeah. So quality time is basically just like spending time with each other and like figuring out what kind of presence you make with each other in that time and space. The other ones are obviously gift giving. So you buy them flowers, or women buy your men a video game if they're into video games,
Or a beautiful home.
or a beautiful home, or a car.
Oh damn! Well, we're talking about the big boy stuff. huh?
Hey.
I mean,
Hashtag we are 30, almost 30, rocking the dirty 30. Dang.
We-
Experience.
we try to live on a elevated space. Can't keep living on that lower level. We
Yeah.
always strive for
True,
better.
true,
Always
true.
striving. Yes.
Let's see. The other ones are acts of service. So basically doing things for your significant other. So, I mean, if there are dishes in the sink, go wash those dishes, or like they don't have to tell you, you just go and do it for them. Like,
Or any veteran, like the fact that they were able to put themselves in the line of fire to protect their country.
Yeah.
That's a major like act of service that I think gets completely overlooked. That
Yeah,
I'd
I
love to
definitely
shout out
didn't
to my
think about-
veterans.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, for 100%. Wow.
And then, did I say physical touch? Is that the last one?
No, you didn't say, but
Okay.
yeah, physical
Well-
touch, and yeah, it's basic stuff.
I guess hand holding and
Hugs, kisses,
kisses.
and other things.
Yes.
Giggity.
I mean, the fact of just like human to human contact in general is so healing in and of itself because that's how energy is transferred. And hugs are actually scientifically proven to just release endorphins. And it's like a chemical, just healing, just dose of love.
Exactly.
So touch is a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. I love touch.
Me too, actually.
Transfer our energy.
Yes.
I think if I were to like categorize or which one would go first, so it'd be words of affirmation. Sorry, gotta look at my notes. Quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and then gifts.
Gifts
Okay.
is your last.
Gifts is my last.
Interesting.
I'm not a materialistic person, in all
think
honesty. Like
Gifts is probably my third.
really,
Acts of service is last.
yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
if somebody gives me something and they thought about me at that moment in time, then cool, awesome. But I
Yeah.
mean, like I don't know. I tend to go and get things on my own, so it's not like I really want anything. I really just just like that song that Usher created. I'm a singer and I'm on the spot here, but it's the time that we spend with each other. And time is like one of the biggest things you can ever get to anybody.
Very true.
Like you're never gonna get time back. It's the simple things in life. We regret that, and it's time. Time is one of those regrets.
Yeah. Did you know about the 5 love languages during your breakup? Which how long was your breakup? Like when was it?
Oh shoot. Oh, I mean,
Just so everybody knows like when this happened.
I'm on the spot. Well, as far as like breakups go, probably like my last breakup was probably in like 2004. I don't know, 16, 15. I'm not quite sure. But
So 3 to 4 years.
Couple
ago.
yeah, a
years,
couple
yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
But the major one was like 2014, where
Okay.
that was my. I thought I was in love. You know, I thought like
That was like the big major one that.
yeah,
kind of- yeah.
I thought I had everything set down, bought a promise ring, did all that stuff. I was
Ooh, promise ring.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
ready to like move forward in my life in that sense. And then when everything came down to it, like I started realizing that sometimes like because relationships can get toxic, whereas like you start losing yourself, you start losing people around you, and you're pretty much at that time I felt like I was a bird in a cage. Like I was only allowed to sing when she was around, and like I'm an expressive person. I love to like I'm a social person too. I love to be around people. I love to do things, and like I want to share my presence and the bonds that I make with others. And I can't just be held down like that,
Limited.
Yeah, I don't want to be limited. And as much as I wanted to like, be there and stay there for that one person, like I think in a relationship you got to understand that, there are other people out there who may need that person. And I mean, like if they're dedicated to you and you're dedicated to them, it should be easy. It should be like, oh, okay, like you shouldn't be worried about whether or not I'm going to cheat on you because I'm dedicated to you. Like I've already like made a commitment to you. Even though like we're not married, even though we're not like we haven't said any of that stuff. Like you gotta learn to trust. And I
Yes.
think trust. I think trust is like the biggest thing. I was actually talking to one of my buddies the other day, and he was talking to me. He's like, "Why do you like? Do you trust this person enough to give yourself to that person?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's huge. You trust yourself first and foremost in order to be able to trust someone
Yeah.
else. That's huge.
It's absolutely huge. When he had told me that, my mind shattered. Like I was like, hold on, give me a minute. I gotta like think about this really quickly. Like, do I have enough trust in them to like give myself or to I don't know, go in that direction? Like trust is super huge. I think nobody really thinks about it because it's the back of your mind. When you go into a relationship, you just like think, oh, this person makes me happy. This person makes me smile. But you don't see, like JERiCK was talking about earlier, you don't see the bad. You only see the good.
Do you think that's part of your insecurities though? Like not necessarily because she's like not trustworthy, but maybe you're just
To hide
insecure.
the bad, feeling like you need to hide any sort of negative connotation you feel with yourself or within the relationship.
Yeah,
Oh,
because you
shoot.
could be feeling just like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. So like, she might leave me for like another guy. You know what I mean? Like that's why
that was all. I felt like that was always in the back of my mind. Like I needed to play at my 100 because I wasn't playing for myself at the time. That I needed to play at 100 in order to make sure that my significant other wasn't going to be looking somewhere else, or I wanted to be able to know that whoever I was with was going to be someone who's going to be a ride or die, like through the good or the bad. Like it was a prerequisite in order to be like, to even consider marriage and then the next step and the next step and the next step. Can we pass like this step we're in right now? Can we sit in it, and can we like play in the fire and learn to like accept it and have fun with it and then create from it, like pottery or like glass, you know, blowing glass? It's like that shit has to be molded and heated and just sculpted, blown and loved and
So when was your
it's got to be
breakup?
everything.
When was your breakup?
My breakup?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of breakups. I mean, not
Or
actually
I guess
a
your
lot.
recent one, just so we have a little bit of context on where you're coming from.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at. Last time my heart was broken enough for me to be debilitated, just bedridden sort of breakup.
Yeah, that breakup, yeah.
Man, I mean, the last time I was bedridden was like just even a couple months ago when I
Okay.
moved back from Reno. I had just gone on this huge sabbatical trip of going on a one-way ticket to Colombia. So this heartbreak, it was due to a trip that I went to Colombia, to Costa Rica in order to find myself. So this whole trip was based on the fact of me discovering who I was in order to show up in a way that I was confident to be in a relationship. Because my heart, when I invest in something, I invest everything into it. And so when I found out that that approach wasn't one conducive nor the healthiest nor the most effective way to go about a relationship, then I had to completely re-examine how I approached and how I thought about love in the first place. So then that took that mission trip. I call it a mission trip because I like went in the jungle and I was really deep diving into things that I want to pursue, like Envision Festival. I was telling JERiCK yesterday that, I mean, like music festivals, creating one is in my future. I see that hardcore just because of the community that it brings, the freedom that people allow themselves to feel and express. Like when I went to Envision, I hadn't danced in 10 years essentially. And so I remember when I was there in that environment, I finally gave myself permission to like start feeling the music in my body again, like discovering who I was and how that energy and my creative flow works with me, as opposed to hiding it and shunning it because I didn't have a boyfriend yet to express who I was, and I didn't have this and that and this. So yeah, coming back from that trip, and then I was living out in San Diego with a bunch of veterans, homeless, transitioning veterans. So I got all of their insight too of like, you have to be completely so selfless. And then when that's not enough, to then discover, okay, self-love is numero uno, like first and foremost, to be able to like actually start sharing that.
Yeah, that's why I didn't really get into a relationship after my breakup. Like I was single for like 3 years because I don't know. I mean, I didn't really.
Not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, I didn't really feel the need to date somebody. You know,
Right.
I was just kind of waiting. I mean, obviously after the breakup, it was just like, oh, I want to get with somebody just to like fill that void
Yeah.
of like being lonely. But
It's a
after a
thing.
while, I realized I'm like, I don't really need anybody.
I got a dog for that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a dog. I had a dog
Should I get a
during
dog
that
too,
time,
then?
so that was good. You know, dogs are fun.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I remember, I had got my heart broken, and like a couple years ago in San Diego. Like a lot of the times, the people who I did fall in love with, they ended up leaving me for someone else. Hence the insecurities of a third party or a person outside of the relationship. I just thought that was almost a given because that was pretty much all I've known. My parents, they were divorced. They got married twice to try to make it work, and then they got divorced twice.
Wait,
so I
how do you
just
get married twice? Is that a thing?
yeah,
Really?
yeah, they made it a thing.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, because they just wanted to work.
get back together and like, you know, but I guess that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, but then they got
Wait, they
divorced
got
again.
divorced twice?
Oh man.
But they still, I mean,
But at least they tried, you know.
Yeah,
they
that's
tried
good.
frickin' everything in order to keep the family emotionally healthy and at the same time practically healthy. Like, is there a roof over our head? Is there food in our bellies? Like, are we not only just surviving but thriving, as we were talking about yesterday? And so being able to give their children at the time the freedom to explore themselves as an individual.
Yeah.
But trying to discover all of that. So, yeah, I remember I got my heart broken because the guy who I was seeing, he had reached out to me and he was like, Noelle, like, this is amazing what we're doing, but my ex wants to get back together with me. And he's like, and I want to see where that can go. And I'm like, well, that's fair. And because I mean, I can't say, no, you have to stay with me. You know, it's like, you got to let people fly. You got to let them explore, because true love is letting people.
Oh, I got that quote. Let me get you. If you love something, let it go. If it's meant to be, it'll come back to you, right? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah.
Okay,
So you think there was something deeper than that? Like, do you think there was something wrong with your relationship? That's why he wanted to get back with his ex? Like, looking back at it now. Because I feel like
think
when you
so.
look back, like, you know, when you look at it, like, objectively, like, you can definitely see the things.
See it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first, the reason why I brought up the dog and unconditional love is because as soon as I had gotten that message, I just like
he
broke
texted
down.
you?
Yo, yeah.
Oh.
What? He texted you? Dang. Okay, fellas.
Hey,
First and
I'm not
foremost,
gonna
let
throw
me
out
tell you
names,
real
but-
quick. Let me
Like-
tell you real quick. Do not. Wow, that is. I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry you experienced that.
It is
If
what
you're
it
not-
is.
If you're not man enough to go and tell this person that you try to commit yourself to in person that is not gonna work out, you don't deserve to be dating people. That's like,
Yeah,
wow,
that's-
that's
From the words
ouch.
of Christian.
From
Yeah,
the
that's
words.
some,
Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna lie though. I mean, like, I used to do it, but as a man, you really need to step up your game. Like, you
Yeah,
can't
step
just-
up the game.
Yeah.
You can't just
Yeah.
like texting so easy, but in order to grow, in order to like actually like. Okay, so you go on to the next relationship. What is gonna? Are you gonna be so scared to like tell them how you feel
Yeah.
by texting them? Like,
Wait,
oh,
how
that's
long is
terrible.
this? How old was the guy? Or how old were you?
We were
during
the
this
same
time?
age. So, I mean, currently the same age. This was, I was still in San Diego. So I'm going to say 3 years ago.
So 26.
26.
Dang.
I
If
mean,
y'all
you should
listening
be
to this,
mature
please
Yeah.
enough to like.
be mature enough.
He's definitely not mature enough. So yeah, let's
hey,
just leave
you
it
know
at
what?
that.
It
I
was
mean,
his loss.
Yeah.
Absolutely his.
And if he didn't give himself the space to be true to himself and to explore the options, because I mean, an investment is an investment, and if you invest in someone when you haven't even closed off and really gotten your return on that initial investment, you're
Yeah.
always going to be like, what if? What if? And then you get into a relationship where you're like, oh shit, this could actually be something. Let me close it off. Either close it off or just get closure for myself in order to move on in a healthy way. That it's not bringing in the baggage and the bullshit and all that other stuff that could potentially be damaging to the new relationship. So that's why I said it was fair, because I understood it.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, it grew me. But when I got that text message, I just remember I was bawling, allowing myself to feel and to like just be in it and just cry, because I wouldn't allow myself to cry or be vulnerable. And I think that's actually what kept the boundary between us, because there was just this unsaid agreement that wasn't, it just felt, I don't blame it. I don't blame him. I don't blame myself. It was just all a learning experience. And, but my dog was there to like comfort me, and he just like laid on me and I was crying, and I was like, and he was like, it's okay, girl. It's okay. Like, we
That's
gonna
cool.
get through it together.
You know, dogs, they can sense that
Yeah.
sadness, so
Yeah.
they will purposely come and comfort you.
For sure.
Yeah, because I remember my ex-girlfriend was crying, and my dog just like came up to her and just like trying to comfort her for some
Yeah,
reason.
they don't.
Yeah.
They can sense that. They can sense
For
that,
sure.
that pain that you're feeling, and
Yeah.
they're like, "I'm here for you. Don't worry."
Right? It's like, until you get back on your feet, girl, I have 4 of them for you.
I will run for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Then, I mean, I guess in that sense, so that you going back to what you said for that guy, like, would you say like trying to close off previous relationships or previous heartbreaks or hurts? You want to do that first before you move forward to.
I mean, I tried it the other way without just saying like la 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 la, it doesn't exist. I like actually I was like a pro at suppression, and I think suppression is fuel for depression. It just is energy that's like holding shit down that's not supposed to be there anymore. You know, it's like stuff that's like internalize it, integrate it. Like, what are the lessons you learned from it, and grow and get strong from it. It's not there to debilitate us. It's here to like teach us. Like, for a trigger to be something so extreme for us to finally be like, okay, that's not working. Like, let me try something else. But like, in order for that, like, a body in motion will stay in motion until a force is applied. And a lot of the times I was running away from that force, like that big semi truck that I knew I was like fucking like, oh shit, it's gonna like catch up to me eventually. I was like, I decided to just own it. Like, buffalo in the wild, I've heard this, and it's always like resonated with me so strong. When they sense a storm coming, they don't run away from it. They actually run into the storm, so it goes quicker.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't
So
know
I
that.
just run straight head on into things as much as I possibly can, because I know it's for my greatest and highest benefit.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That that's really good. Actually, thinking about it. So, what would you say then? Like, I guess if you feel the storm coming, like, what would you do? Like, what is your first?
Just know that it's coming.
Yeah.
Breathe. Breathing is key. As like cliche and as like, duh, I'm doing that regardless if I'm thinking of it or not.
Yeah.
To actually be aware of our breath and to use it of like to ground ourselves and to be present and to be able to sit in those emotions enough to process them all without reacting and being chaotic and being like, fuck, I don't have any like say or control of like this shitstorm I'm in. But just like being just present and having faith in our own strength and our own capabilities to know that whatever is thrown at us, that the skills that I've cultivated in my life and the experiences that I've learned and grow from previously were all sort of training camp, boot camp for me to handle these situations now. And so I just use like my current skill set in order to like problem solve my way out of this shitstorm. And if I can or if I can't, I go out and seek help. Whether that's talking to people, which is huge, whereas I thought that I didn't want to burden anyone. And so I wanted to figure it out for myself. But there comes a time where it's like that only gets you so far.
Yeah.
And for me to not think of myself as a burden to society, but to know that we all have shared experiences, whether it's not exactly the same, but it's like we can fucking relate and understand from one another. And then it becomes like a group effort of like, okay, let's understand it and let's like not be scared of it and let's like figure it out, sort of thing.
All right, so let's why do you think people break up? Let's have like the actual like reasons why.
Ooh, like bullet points?
Yeah, bullet points.
You got bullet points?
Do you have bullet points?
I have one.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
I could tell you like why I broke up. I mean, there's many reasons why people break
That laugh
up.
in
You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes, and it's kind of sad because like we were talking about earlier, people only see the happiness. Like when you get into a relationship, and you really just don't understand the person because you meet this person and they seem pretty cool. You don't see them daily. You don't see what they're like or what they do, but you know that like they make you happy, they make you smile, and you're thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be like a good relationship. But you don't think about like who, like, I mean, obviously, like, you know yourself. I knew myself. I knew that, back in that time, I didn't have a car. I was trying to get through school, and like I knew my bad self. But I tend to put all that on the table.
Wait, let's put a context. Who left who?
Oh, shoot. Well, I mean, okay. If we're okay, hold on.
No, we gotta
Put you on the spot, Christian. Come on now.
Yeah.
Dang,
Was
we
it?
got a spot.
Did she dump you or you dumped her?
Okay, initially, well,
That word "dump" is so eloquent and
Alright.
beautiful.
initially,
Hey, let's just say it is what it
Shoot the
is.
shit.
initially, I tried to leave the relationship because, I mean, as long as we were in that relationship for probably like 4.5 years, maybe 5. I don't know.
That's a long
I don't
That's
remember.
a long time.
Yeah, I told you. Like I said, I when I commit, right? But probably the first year, honeymoon phase, I was super happy. Like I didn't see the bad. I literally just sat there and I was like, wow, she makes me happy. She does this for me. Wow, like cool. I didn't really think about any of that stuff. So the first year went by super smooth, and I had an amazing time, happiness every single day. 1.5 years into it, I started questioning things because, at that point it's like, oh, okay, I've spent so much time with you. Now people are looking for me. JERiCK's my best friend. He would always ask me to hang out, and I'm just like, yo, I'm sorry, Jay.
Damn
I
it,
can't.
JERiCK.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jay. I can't. I'm hanging out with such and such today. He's like, oh, okay. And then our other best friend comes and hey, like, can you hang out? And I'm like, yeah. And then I go and ask, and she's like, no, I don't want you hanging out with them. I'm like, you don't want me hanging out with my best friends? And she's like, I don't like them. I'm like, hold on, you don't like my best friends? Like, they're
You're
my
like, red
best
flag.
friends. That's the first red flag. I didn't really think too much into it. I was just like, okay, well, I like her, so maybe I can make this work. And
By not seeing your friends and
Yeah,
just trying to appease her in the moment.
yeah, in the moment. And I mean, like, during that time, like, all of my good friends, they started dropping off left and right because, like, I don't like those bridges I had created with those people, the bonds that I've made. Like, I guess they started understanding, like, oh, I'm not as important to you as you are for your girlfriend. And like, I didn't realize that. That's like probably one of the biggest lessons I realized during that time. And as soon as I realized that, I was like, okay, I gotta get out of this relationship. Like, there's no way I can stay in this relationship because if I can't be me, or if I can't, like, keep these bonds that I'm creating, like, then what's the point? Like, we're a team, and you should understand that, like, you have your friends, I have mine. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I can't live this life. I got to, like, and I guess the other thing was, like, she didn't like me playing video games. Like, I used to play. At first, it was cool because, like, I could hang out with JERiCK online. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, me and JERiCK would play video games, Call of Duty or whatever. We had this group, and
God.
like, yeah, it gets intense, And during that time, we did video calls because she would go to bed early, and I'd still stay up, play video games. And one night got super intense. I forgot to mute myself, and she wakes up. She's like, "Babe, like, is that who you are when you play video games?" I was like, yeah, I get really competitive. And then she's like, I don't like it. I don't want you to play video games anymore. And I was like, oh shit. Like, all right, I guess I'll stop playing video games. And that's when it started. That's when I started realizing, like,
The bad aspect.
the bad aspect is like, oh, okay. Like, at first I was like, okay, I'll do it for you because I like you. I love you, whatever. Like, I'll do it as much for you. And I started noticing I was doing more for her than she was for me. Like, like, there was a point in time where, like, we can't be, during that time, it was a very interesting relationship because she couldn't be seen with me in public. Like, we had to keep our relationship a secret, and, like, it just sucked. Like,
Why
I
do you
wanted to
think that
express my
was?
love. Huh?
Why do you think that was? That you
Oh,
had to
well, I
keep
mean,
it
I don't want to go
secret?
too deep into it. I don't want to, like, I don't know if she's watching. Like, I don't want to put her on the spot or whatever. Like she's a wonderful person, no doubt about it. But, like, the relationship wise, it was just like, we were still young, so young in love. I mean, this is my early 20s, like, before I was even 21. And as soon as we grew,
Yeah,
as
that's
we
young.
yeah, super
Damn,
young.
10 years ago.
It's,
Oh my-
yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of those crazy relationships.
Grown from yesterday.
I mean, well, I have heartbreaks. Like, I have recent heartbreaks. I can talk about those, but, like, for this one
Yeah.
was just like one of those where it's just like, you learn more. And this is the one that, like, the biggest one that taught me, like, oh, this is who I am. This is what I need to be, and this is what I needed to be for the next person. So during this relationship, that first breakup, I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. I need to be free. I need to, like, as much as I love you, you're not giving me the space that I need. You know, I also learned in that relationship is that, you know, you need time away from each other to actually miss each other. If you're spending, like, people don't understand that, you know, you're spending every day with this person, every day. You know, maybe, I don't know, like, for me, and it's kind of bad because, like, I used to text all the time. These days, I suck at texting. Like, but back in the day, I would text everybody and anybody who right on the spot who texted me. And she was the type of person who would text me every day, and we would talk to each other, video call. And if we're not at school, she's hanging out at my house. If she's not hanging out at my house, you know, we're on a video call. And so I didn't have that time away from her to be like, oh, okay, like, I can't miss you. You got to have that space. So then we didn't have that.
So were you taking the relationship and her for granted, you feel? And you just got complacent with you two as a unit?
I think so, yeah, absolutely. Because, like, I got used to the fact that, oh, she's going to be around. Oh, she's always going to be there by my side. And she's like, I thought my ride or die or whatever. But
you know, like family, you can treat them like shit, and then you're like, but they're stuck with me. They're family. They love me regardless.
Yeah. I think that also had a play in it. I mean, like, a lot of relationships are like that. You know, you think that you could treat your significant other because, oh, they love you so much, they're gonna stay with you. No, you gotta think. I learned that
it's an active choice.
It is an active choice. It is. I learned that, you know, during that time, like, you can't just think like that. I used to be humble. Before that relationship, I lost that humbleness. Like, I do have integrity, but, like, knowing the fact that, like, she would always be there, I was like, oh, whatever. Like,
or do you think the heartbreak humbled you even more so to be like, oh man?
Oh no, I think so. No, absolutely.
Like, rearrange some things up there.
What was crazy is that my mom was like, you need to learn to be humble. Like, I was like, what does humble even mean? You know? And then after that, it just became a big aspect of like, oh, okay, like, you know, don't put yourself, like, I don't know. For me, it's just, don't be too into yourself. Like, I was the one who made the relationship work. I did this, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm thinking, oh shoot, like, it was a two-way street. Like, she went that way and I went this way, and, like, I didn't do much for her as she wasn't doing much for me. We were just in a relationship at, like, probably this halfway point. So I broke up with her first. She was super in love with me. Well, at least I wanted to think she was super in love with me. So she called me. We tried working it out. She tried talking to me. So I was like, okay, well, all right. Well, I still love you, so I'm gonna give you a try. I'm gonna try this again. Like, so I did. Second try, we tried to make it work, and we were just like, we were trying to fix things, and I can see that it was things were trying to be fixed.
Was it different the second time through? Did you feel?
A little bit. But there was, like, you know, insecurities, they pop up, and you're so young, you know, when you're 20, you're 21, like, you haven't grown enough yet to
finally
know.
Legally able to drink.
Yeah. Like,
party like a rock star.
it's like, you don't understand yourself enough to, like, get through those insecurities, you know what I'm saying? So, we were, at that point, we're like 21, 22, and I wanted to go out more and hang out with my friends. And at this point, she had allowed me to, like, you know, go do that stuff. And so I went to go support one of my friends who was playing at a bar. And I told JERiCK that I would meet them. And when I got there, or I told her I was going to do that. She's like, okay. I thought she was cool with it, but she wasn't. She met me at the bar, and she didn't trust me enough to, like, that's where the trust comes in. She didn't trust me enough to, like, be out there by myself. You know, like, I'm not a player. And, I mean, if I'm playing, like, I'm terrible at it. I promise you, you know? But, like, when I'm in a relationship, I'm committed and I'm loyal. But I guess the trust wasn't there. And so that's when I started questioning the relationship.
Like, you gotta let me fly. Come on.
Give me space. Let me be free.
Yeah.
You know? So then, like, at that point, I was like, all right, I'm absolutely done with this relationship. Like, there's no, we're not really growing. We're kind of just arguing. There's no, I don't know.
The joy that it once brought you wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. And so I think we just broke up we broke up 3 times. And I don't want to dive too deep into this relationship. Otherwise, we're going to be here for like 2 hours talking about this stuff. But I think that last one, I learned that love is a drug. love is an intense drug because
I love love.
Yeah,
I'll
you
be
can
the
get
first one to
addicted
admit that
love
for sure.
easily.
Yeah,
I mean, as human beings, we're meant to love.
yeah,
And when we limit that love and who we then decide who's worthy enough to receive that love,
yeah,
I mean, it comes from a place of understanding ourselves, of trusting ourselves if we are in a committed relationship.
yeah.
To know, like, I'm committed in that regards, but that doesn't stop me from expressing myself to whoever I want to express myself to, whether that's a female or a male. Like, to know that that bond and that relationship is strong enough to know, like, I know, like, for me, like, what I want, and that's to be in a partnership. But at the same time, I want to also fully be able to love and express myself with other people and to find the wisdom and the genius that then they offer, as opposed to being like, I'm in a relationship, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
You can't. I mean, like you gotta. If you're thinking you want to be in a relationship, you gotta also think about the other variables. You know, at the pinnacle of that relationship, I started realizing these things, and I was like, you know, love should come easy. Love should be like, but love is never ever easy. You know, you
Always
have
a
to like,
process.
it's a give and take, and you have to learn. You have to take the good with the bad, and if you can't learn to take or like learn from the bad, then what's the point of being in a relationship? You know, at the end of that relationship, I came running back. I was like, I need you. I miss you. I want you. I was like, I was a sad boy for sure. I was like, wow, like I cannot live without you. And you know, that was my mistake. You know, I didn't like. I think communication at that time wasn't. I'm still terrible at communication, but at that time I didn't have.
Seem like you're doing pretty damn well to me.
I tried, you know. I'm trying. I'm constantly learning how to love, not just others, but myself. I feel like out of everything, you got to learn to love yourself first. Especially like recently, I just started thinking like, you know, there's nobody else is gonna love you the way you love yourself. Like nobody really. It's kind of hard to take in. It's like a hard pill to swallow, but people don't really care. Like they'll care when they do care, but
Or they just don't know.
Everybody has their own problems, you know.
Yeah.
So like people deal with their own shit. So like it's kind of hard to just like look at everybody else too, especially if you're dealing with stuff.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, like I guess what I'm trying to say is people are inadvertently selfish.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, like they care, but
they care.
I mean,
They
I
don't
think
really,
that
like,
selfish
yeah.
has got such a bad rap in our society of like, you know, unconditional loves, meaning like you have to completely deplete yourself in order to give everything that you have to others in order to be seen as holy or to be seen as a good person.
Yeah.
Like you have a man, Jesus Christ, who literally was tortured in front of a crowd and just in order to be seen as like, oh, that's what love is. And I like in my mind growing up in like a religious like upbringing, I'm like, oh shit, that's what love is.
Love is I don't want it.
I was like, dang, okay, I better get ready for some stuff that I'm gonna go through.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, the perceived bad of like finding someone that you can feel safe enough to be open and vulnerable enough with, so that we can be a reflection of the things that needed to be worked on. Because I just look at by me owning my self-love is like I'm the teacher to teach others how I receive love.
Yeah.
And that's why the love languages it's a tool in an arsenal in order to be able to like get other people to understand, because they're not going to understand by just knowing like as much as they would love and would want to know and use all of their resources. Unless I set that precedence, then like I can't expect anyone else to know how to love me if I don't know how to do that. That's an impossible task. So I needed to learn how I received love, how I give love, and love all of that in order to be, like I said, that pillar for the relationship.
Yeah.
So then from that point, then that can be where the dirty work starts. And it's like, okay, let's start unraveling like who we are, so then we can come together really strong. So
Oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, like, you got to be a little bit selfish.
yeah.
that's to
Yeah, you gotta be happy with yourself before
Yeah.
you can even,
self-love is what I like to call
make
it.
somebody
Love, yeah.
happy.
Yes.
You know?
And I just realized that, like, it's like you can't give yourself to somebody if you're not 100% with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, And we go through this life, like, if you question where you're at, what you're doing, where you need to be, then you're not fully 100% with who you are. You know, you have to, and this is what I'm like. I constantly.
But it's normal.
It is
Everyone
normal.
out
It is
there, it's
absolutely
normal.
You gotta know that, like, if you are gonna give yourself to somebody, you gotta be 100% like clear, your direction at least.
Clear, but then at the same time, love yourself enough to say, like, I may not be exactly in the space that I've always thought that I've wanted to be, but just appreciating that you have vision and sight and goals, loving that aspect. But then at the same time, for me, it was like, but I need to also love where I'm at currently, who I'm with, like, what does my current reality, what is that, and then fall in love with that.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
Yeah, because there's this quote that's like, you can be a work in progress and a masterpiece all at the same time. And it's just being generous with that love within ourselves to be like, I'm a work in progress.
Yeah.
And that's A-okay.
Everybody's always should be a work in progress.
Yeah, always
man.
learning, always growing.
Because I
Always.
think as the relationship grows, like you'll learn a lot more about that other person. Because like, I think, the first year, everything's good, so you don't really, there's no, normally there's no,
Rainbows and sunshine.
yeah,
everywhere.
there's no fights, there's no conflicts. And then after a while, you start to see little things that you normally don't like,
Do you think that the title or the label of being a boyfriend or being a potential husband changes things, puts like expectations that maybe confine?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you're committed to being a boyfriend, like there's like certain expectations from you.
What would those be?
Ooh,
Putting him on the spot,
damn,
JERiCK in the hot
okay.
seat.
Yeah, get it.
It depends on the girl, I think. Like everybody has their own definitions of how a boyfriend should be or how a girlfriend should be.
I
you know?
mean, I thought that a girlfriend back in the day was like supposed to be someone submissive, someone who's just never quiet but never seen, sort of thing. Kind of like the background support, the supporting.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest expectations is probably like loyalty and exclusiveness, I guess. So like, especially if you're boyfriend, girlfriend, like that's it. Like it's just you and like nobody else, And I mean, in a romantic sense of way,
Like in the peen, like in the physical sense.
yeah. So it's just you and her and nobody else, and I feel like that's
fair.
yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for STDs.
Unless you have unless you guys decide to do like an open relationship or whatever, like we'll talk about that in a later podcast.
Yeah, there was a point where I actually accepted being okay with being in an open relationship. But then I realized through a buddy of mine, Luis Colombia, hey, miss you, buddy. I miss all the people out there for all y'all. But he actually gave me a perspective. He was like fighting for the perspective of monogamy, of being able to be with someone for the love of it, to just be committed because he completely changed my mind. Because before I was okay with being in an open relationship because I thought that that's what I needed to accept in order to be in a relationship. Because I just thought everyone's eyes and hearts and minds were always wandering, and that I didn't want to ever be that thing to hold anyone down. I really just want to be with people who express themselves freely. And but then when I heard him talk about the beauty and the gift that monogamy is, he completely changed my perspective. And
Yeah.
so now I'm team monogamy. 1 and 1, Bubba.
There you go.
I mean, you can win a game with multiple people in your team, but
You can, but when it comes to just like making
think-
a baby,
I think it just depends. I think it just depends.
it's like
on,
you go halvesies, want to go halvesies on a baby, sort
It
of
depends on where you're at in your life, I guess. Because like in your early 20s, you're probably not even thinking about like getting married and doing all that. So you're trying to figure things out, and that's probably why people kind of date and then they break up because feel like they're not putting enough effort to because like I can just find somebody else later on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, but when you're in the stage of like, in I guess our age area, where like we're kind of trying to look forward to like settling down because we've done all the fun stuff, all the
Self-discovery, the
all the
quitting jobs you
know,
hate.
basically all the things that younger people do because we're still young.
We're still young. We
yeah.
still
I
young
have a
chickens.
lot of life left in me.
Yo, lots of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
I'm gonna let you guys know now though that relationships, even at this age, is trials and tribulations.
Yes.
And you will continue to learn, and sometimes you'll forget. Hopefully you don't, but it's a continuous like learning process.
But hopefully you have people to remind you
Yeah, because like
whenever you forget.
definitely because right now I'm still kind of learning stuff.
Me
I still
too.
look all that stuff up. Like especially if something happens and like I get into a fight with her, and then I'm like, oh, like I feel like I need to solve it, so I always like look for like podcasts or YouTube videos, read articles or whatever, just to like learn.
I feel like that's the best sort of learning is
Yeah.
to be able to, you care so deeply about something that you just truly want what's best for yourself and for that other
Yeah,
person that you're
exactly.
trying to help, that you research, you go out and find the things that will actually, you can take back and utilize and implement in the relationship and be like, ta-da! And then you're like, but there's still more. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So to fall in love with the process of the searching and seeking and applying and integrating, like it's all a thing. And then teaching and speaking.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm teaching.
Yo, damn, you damn right are.
Hopefully
like-
you guys are learning something.
Hopefully.
I feel all sorts of goodness in here, so I think it's
feel like-
working for me at least.
People try to find the perfect person, the perfect person to be with. But I think love is more so of a choice where it's like, okay, you choose this person and then you choose at least to be with them for the time being, and then you learn off of him. Like, oh, okay, this is who I am with this person, and you gotta learn to take that lesson and take it with you wherever you go, because maybe you're not meant for that person, and maybe the next person needs you more than the person behind you needed. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense.
I mean, you definitely should learn from your breakups too. Like, always look back and like, how come it didn't work out?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things.
Resentment is poison.
Yeah.
By the way.
And just, there's a lot of things that happen that you're probably just overlooking. Like, and don't put the blame on the other person too. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a two-way street.
It is
It's
a
a
two-way
relationship,
street.
Everybody has their own faults. Just because the other person broke up with you doesn't mean,
It's not their fault.
Or
you just weren't
or-
there. You weren't.
or you breaking up with them.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean you're like a better person than them.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
If you're gonna commit yourself to somebody, just know that, like, it's two people, not just one, and it's not their fault, because you tend to forget that. It's like, oh, like you said earlier, family. Like, if they're always there, you tend to forget that, like, that person was once not there, and they could choose to not be there again.
And to find a space in yourself to respect their decision, as
Yes,
opposed to convincing
absolutely.
them to stay in something that they're like, hey, I need, and this is something I need to hear from myself. Yeah, because I don't like to, when I feel like I can put more into a relationship and offer more, I feel like I have to convince and to prove and to be like, stay with me, like, like we can work it out. And if somebody doesn't, you can bring a horse to the water, but you cannot force it to drink.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
'cause I
gotta
think
be that active choice.
It's like that song, the Avant song. I can't make you love me. Yes, she sings. She's come back.
Yeah, because I think people break up because somebody lost attraction, at some point.
Like what kind of attraction?
Like
Because for me,
physical and emotional attraction,
okay, yeah.
Because like when it's funny because like on my flight to the Philippines, I was watching like all these movies.
Yeah.
And then I was watching like a, romantic comedy like movie. And, like,
Such a softy, Jared.
yeah, I don't know. I actually like rom-coms, man.
Oh, they're enjoyable.
Yeah.
J-Lo,
Even though
queen of
they're
rom-com.
even though they're not very like realistic because it's a movie, but I feel like
Good inspiration, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely because I was watching this movie and like this girl broke up with this guy because the guy kind of like lost himself because he got fired from his job and then like he was just like depressed and like wasn't really trying hard like to make himself better. Like she tried and tried to like help him, but then she finally just like gave up and basically broke up with him.
It's a heavy load.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that, I mean, not necessarily like the only reason people break up, but at some point somebody probably lost attraction. So let's say your girlfriend or your boyfriend, because of, let's say if you're the one that got like dumped, like they lost attraction for you. So like I feel like you should look into yourself and like, what did I do wrong? Even though I mean like self-love is obviously very important, like you should never put yourself down, but should look at yourself of like,
Grow from it, right?
yeah, I was like this, I was like needy, or I was
I guess never see yourself as the perfect one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, or like there was
'cause
like
you're not the perfect one, and obviously if they broke up with you, then I mean there was something wrong with the relationship that they saw that they couldn't commit to anymore.
yeah, because looking back at my relationship or my past relationship, like I was definitely kind of an asshole. Like, yeah,
You're like, but don't ladies love the bad boys?
not this kind of
aren't
bad.
I doing it
No, 'cause
right?
I was just like looking back at it now. I was just like, damn, I treated her like pretty badly. Like I was super mean. Like,
Oh yeah, dude. No.
like we always get into fights for like stupid things,
I mean, there's passion in that, but I think a way to, because for me, I actually received, the only way I felt worthy enough to receive love was if it was coming from a place of sorrow or anger, because I felt like I wasn't worthy enough to actually be loved, which is the fucking reality of it at the time. So I needed that fight in order to have someone, so I could be able to receive a translation of they love me. Because that passion and that like fight to try to make things work, that was the only way that I'd be able to like get it.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, at the end of that relationship that I was in, I was pretty upset, like because like things weren't working my way, and I think that's another life lesson that I learned that day is like nothing will work your way, and you just gotta learn to roll with it. You can't be angry at it because like anger's not gonna solve anything. And from that point, I knew I was a jerk. I was an absolute jerk. And if I can apologize to her, I would. Like, if I had an opportunity,
Well,
if you're watching
this,
this,
your opportunity.
I'm so sorry for being that person that I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
Like I'm still learning. I was still young, and shoot, like for every girl that I've ever hurt, like yo, I'm sorry. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And
Talk about being humble. But at the same time, that's amazing that you were able to have that.
Mm-hmm.
But just know that you don't have to apologize for anything because we're all going through it.
Yeah.
We're
that's true. Well, I just apologize for like being like that jerk.
Because I think during
can't be
that
that guy.
time, I think I definitely had an anger problems. Like I didn't have a lot of patience, Like
Yeah.
I would snap very easily. But now, like I'm trying to be more patient and like try to think before I snap, I mean, sometimes you just can't help it,
Yeah.
But just, at least like I'm a little bit more aware. Like when she does something that I don't like, I try to like just calm myself down and just try to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a work in progress.
Do you think the understanding comes with being patient? What's the importance of patience to you?
I think it's just like sometimes people just do things that you normally don't agree, and that's fine.
Talk about attraction. I think that being challenged, it turns me on.
Yeah.
To know that people
Definitely,
aren't always
'cause
going
I
to
mean,
agree
like,
with everything I say.
People, I feel like attraction is like you kind of always want
Yeah.
somebody that you can't, like it's like
They're like, dang,
you can't have, you know what I mean? Like it's like a challenge, and people like that. Because like
Love the
when you,
chase.
especially when like somebody challenges you, you're kind of like it kind of pisses you off, but at the same time, it's just like it's kind of a turn
Like,
on.
damn,
Challenge
girl.
me. Okay, you gotta. I mean, I'm not
You got
gonna
a
lie.
beautiful big mind of your own. Oh,
But it's-
Jesus.
It depends too. Like there's like a fun challenge, but then there's like the next level of like it's just too much, you know?
Yeah. You got to find
Yeah.
that balance.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if a girl's always like being mean to you, I mean, eventually you'll be like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
back in the
Same
day,
thing with
you'd
dudes.
hear like if the boys on the playground were mean to you, and then the parents would be like, "Oh, honey, that's just because he likes you," and it's like, "Oh, okay, that's a weird freaking way of
I
showing
wonder
it."
if that's like the because you know how society, or at least like girls, are attracted to like bad boys.
It's just ingrained in us.
Yeah, probably. Because like, oh, they're mean to you because they like you, and they probably just kind of, you know, subconsciously.
Maybe
But I don't know.
what just came to mind was the anyone who's willing to create some sort of friction and to be able to go against the norm of their own truth. I mean, I think that's so sexy and so. As my phone is vibrating, it's like I agree too. Yeah, I think that's a sign of a good leader and a good partner that I want to invest in, to support, because they believe in themselves enough to go just straight into whatever their truth is.
Yeah.
And they're always pushing the limits of their own capabilities. And I find that so attractive. That's what I find attractive, of always like achieving and striving for more. But at the same because I'm doing that for myself. And if I'm able to find people, and especially a partner who's able to like stay focused on that, and we actually have aligned missions together, yo, that's the dream.
Yeah.
The dream. No, I absolutely agree. Because in a relationship, you can't just expect the other person to be like, oh, okay, good, yes, like yes to everything that you do, yes to like I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a man and I make stupid decisions, and if my future significant other doesn't challenge me in that sense, so you're not helping me grow. You're actually you're being an enabler, and you don't want to do that. You want them to like, you know, obviously you want them to grow as much as you are growing, and you want them to like be up there. But you can't just say yes to everything. You can't just be like, oh, honey, I'm going to buy this llama. Don't buy that llama. Why are you going to buy a llama for? Well, actually, like, hopefully she says
You
yes.
see how
because-
happy it makes you? Okay,
Yeah, the
all right.
llama will make you super happy. But I mean, like, in those senses, like, not just that, but like, you know, she has to be, why do you want to do this? Why do you need to do this? What's this and what's that? Like, I mean, obviously you don't want to nag the person all the time, but you got to come to understanding that, okay, hey, like, why do you need to do this? Like, I want to understand so that I can support you in that sense.
Yes.
And if it doesn't make sense to me, then I'm going to tell you, no, you gotta like, and then hopefully like, because obviously it's a relationship, you gotta learn to communicate and speak both each other's truth, you know? So I think in that sense, I absolutely agree with you. You should be challenging, but don't nag.
Right. Saying
It's a
no
balance.
is the most empowering thing. Saying yes is a great thing to build experiences and to just put yourself out there. But also being able to say no is a very empowering thing. And when you're able to be with someone where you're like, they're okay and strong in saying no, that means I can trust them because they know exactly what they want enough to not be deviated from anything or anyone or any situation that they get thrown into. And I can trust that they're doing their job, and I can trust I'm doing our job or my job, because I believe in the choice. Yes,
Yeah.
no.
And I guess I'm gonna take it to a business marketing sense. Like if you're in a team and you're always saying yes to that, to whoever's leading whatever, like you're never gonna know like a better outcome and a better product. Like if you say yes to everything, like you don't challenge that person enough to think outside of the box and think, oh, okay, maybe I can go about it this way instead, you know? And that like if you're always this is like one of like the business sayings. I can't really remember it, but yeah, business is good. It's just you got to know that like saying no empowers more productivity. I think, especially in a relationship.
Well, I mean, when I get a no, I just get frustrated and I'm like, oh, how do I get that no into a yes?
But then it turns you on.
Yeah, which is a win-win, you know, because then if that avenue is getting a no, then that just means I have to figure out and problem solve another avenue that'll get them to say yes, that it's mutually agreed upon, and there's no sense of like I feel bad or they feel bad. It's just a fun way to re-navigate and just go through life.
And that's the reason why that's what relationships are. Is like it's a balance. You come to an understanding, and you got to understand each other in everything, all aspects. Yeah.
Cool. Well, to end this podcast, we should
Oh dang, it's about that time.
Yeah, we got like we're an hour and 10
just
minutes.
Shot out into space right there.
There's so much more to say.
Nuggets of
We'll
wisdom.
continue it on the next podcast, but we should end it.
Hopefully
in a
they
good
have
note.
me back on.
Yeah, we should end it on a good note. Like, what should people do
Ooh, I like
after
action
their
items.
breakups? Like, let's just
Ooh,
each of us can come up with like a quick
I like that.
tips. You know. Okay. All right. I guess I'll start off. I think you should. First of all, don't get into a relationship right away. Like after your breakup, just deal with it. Be depressed for, I don't know, a week if you need to. But after that, you should figure yourself out. Like, what did I do wrong? And what did the other person do wrong? And try to think of how you can make yourself better for the next relationship. And make sure you like heal before you try to get into the next one too. I don't want to take too many points, but yeah.
Love it. Yeah, agreed. What to do after a breakup? For me, what really helped me was rediscovering what I truly love and what I love to do. And for me, that was just traveling and realizing my own capabilities on my own in a brand new environment, because I was essentially thrown completely fresh out of everything that I knew or everything that I wanted. So I had to rediscover what then I truly authentically did want and what do I want in order to move forward in a way that empowers me. And even if that means getting a plant and taking care of something outside of myself, yeah, it's beautiful to be able to know that I can take care of me and I can take care of something else, and just baby step your way back to health, love yourself back to health, and do it in a way that brings you joy, because that's what it is in the end, is just live the life you live and own it.
Wow. There's nothing more I can really say, to be honest, but hit the
your
gym.
truth,
No, I'm
brother.
just kidding.
All right, it's good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess to reiterate, like self-care and self-help if you really need it. You know, sometimes it's really tough out there. A lot of people out there don't really understand like why things happen, and they can't really, I guess, interpret it themselves. So if you need help, go out there and talk to somebody. Go out there and like express yourself. If you're an artist, go do something artistic. If you're a gamer, go play the crap out of that video game. If you're a gym head, hit up the gym. But always know that you need to. It's you first. Like, I mean, be a little selfish. Learn to be a little selfish, but don't forget those lessons that you've learned. You know, those are the most important things that will help you on your next relationship. And don't think that you need to be in another relationship like right off the bat. Like,
Yeah, definitely not.
you know, go explore yourself. Like Noelle said, go travel. Go and like find your place in this world. Because when you do things for yourself, eventually you'll find somebody who does appreciate who you are and will want to be with you. Because you gotta love yourself first, and then that way, you know, you can be able to love someone else.
Oh, that gave me chills. Woo!
Okay, well,
Woogity, 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 fellas.
that was a good podcast.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I had a friggin' blast.
Oh, it's fun.
Woo!
love it.
Can't wait to hear the replay on this. Have my mind blown.
Hey, for all of you guys out there who's been listening with us for like an hour, whatever it is, thank you. I appreciate you. Much love. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please share it.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, get
And
the message out.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify.
Yeah. If you have any questions, retorts, hit us up. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. If you have any questions specifically for one of us, like let us
Yeah, it
know.
would be kind of cool to have like questions. We should ask questions.
And Instagram, I'm at growwiththeflow.co. Noelle Hernandez, Facebook, hit me up.
Oh, we got some shameless plugs going
Yeah.
on.
Oh yeah, shameless plug at HeyRightGo.
We just got to give the people a way to us.
So yeah, is that it?
Sounds good to me.
All right,
Sounds
that's it for
good.
the podcast. Peace.
Later.